Okay, so your kingdom. All right, we're going into game 2, but your kingdom. You have a couple of new people, you got a couple of new roles. How do you get back from this loss?
You would just have to look for the side lane pressure, right? It's Sol versus Chronos. It was Eager that was the ones alleviating pressure from AirCougar to allow him to get into that late game form. We saw the build coming out of Hotbow on the Chronos. He was trying to go into the farming mode where he went into the Warlock Sash, he went into Wingblade, trying to get that. And heading into game 2 for picks and bans, Kingdom is definitely going to need to switch things up.
I mean, we saw he was trying to build into farm, but Eager said no. No,
there's no reason for them to. They found those 3 kills, and then they immediately went for the tier 1 mid tower into gold here. At that point in time, it's almost like you need to make a switch. Even if you had tier 2 Warlock Sash, once you lose all those objectives, Eager's in a commanding lead, and there's no time to farm because Eager's going to be constantly looking for team fights.
No surprise here, Kingdom banning out the Susano immediately. First ban, Nemesis second. I mean, we probably won't see a lot of Nemesis, but I mean, the Susano, that's some really deep respect there.
Especially when you're first pick, and you're the ones that could be first picking the Susano, but it's TheYungHomie, and maybe he's not very comfortable on the Susano. Maybe he's more reliant on the Fafnir, for example.
Yeah, I mean, and Fafnir, I mean, even if you're not comfortable with them, you have 2 ways to get out. You have the jump, and you have the brutalize. Last resort, you can use the Ragnarok to get out. But Ravana are gonna be banned out from Eager, as well as the Soul from Kingdom Esports.
Alrighty, we'll see what the first pick opportunity for Kingdom gives them. They want to really go for the early game control and the pacing, and it's gonna be the Fafnir. They're gonna be looking for some of these team fight objective controls.
That's gonna give him a little bit of extra pressure compared to that last game. Fafnir, we don't see him often, especially last week. He was banned out quite a bit, but the coerce, I think, is the biggest thing that we need to talk about when it comes to Fafnir.
Absolutely, and with these magical hunters, Sol being banned, but there's still Chronos and Freya allowed for Kingdom Esports before the secondary ban phase, and that could be an option that they're going to explore, trying to synergize off of this coerce.
You know what else is available? Zeus didn't get banned out.
Zeus did not get banned out. That's a good point. Eager this time around have the option to go for that for Delta Marine, and just like that, great pickup from Eager with the Guan Yu.
Guan Yu. Now, Odin is still on the board. Fafnir would most definitely be going into the support role. I don't see him going anywhere else. So that could leave open a solo Odin to help negate that Guan Yu's healing.
It wouldn't be a bad idea to run the Odin. We'll see Eager how they're able to survive against Odin, because Zeus obviously cannot get away, neither can Guan Yu. You could potentially look for Phantom, though, to try to escape that.
Yeah, if you're Team Eager, though, last week we saw something like this happen. They picked up the Guan Yu, and Most Wanted picked the Odin into it. If you're Eager, does that deter you, or do you keep going with these picks that you're comfortable with and, you know, just work around it? Because it didn't work for Most Wanted.
It definitely didn't work out against Most Wanted for Eager, unfortunately. They weren't able to handle the Odin. They weren't able to play with the Odin. So this is why they're still going to the Guan Yu Zeus. And now, with that Ratatoskr and Freya ban, now they don't have to worry about Odin, because after their next pick, they can ban the Odin if they want to.
Yep, they're going to be able to ban it out. I'm surprised Dwurst wanted to make that call to ban the Raven and pick up the Guan Yu for himself, but either way, Chronos going to get locked in. Ratatoskr and Freya. Now, Freya has caused some really, just a lot of grief in the SCL already last week. So I'm really curious to see what Kingdom are going to be able to bring to the table with Hotbow on that Freya.
It's going to be important to see how Fafnir and Freya synergize in the late game. If they can survive the early laning phase away from Eager, then they'll be in a good spot, especially with the assistance of Ratatoskr constantly applying pressure on that dual lane with his global presence.
Raijin banned out from Team Eager. Don't want to have the Thunderdome literally in the mid lane between Zeus and Raijin. And Thor gonna get banned out from Kingdom Esports, but Eager have one spot they can still ban out the Odin.
They could potentially still ban out the Odin here, unless they really want to try to look for an exploit, right? You leave the Odin open, baiting Kingdom out in the soul lane, and then as a result, you go for an aggressive god that could maybe outbox the Odin.
That's very true. Isis banned out, as well as Hun Bots. Hun Bots has one of the best ultimates in the game, in my opinion. The displacement, it's really disruptive and awful in these big, gigantic team fights.
Especially even if you're behind, Hunbats is still so useful. With just that ultimate alone, you're pairing it up with the Guan Yu, Zeus, and Chronos. You're just going to have a lot of healing and a lot of area of effect damage from those 2 magical gods.
Erlang Shen locked in from Team Eager. Haven't really seen a lot of him yet, but he can go into either the solo role or the jungle role. Do you have a preference where you'd like to see him?
I would personally like to see him in the solo lane, because you go Death Toll, you have the double proc off of your passive in the dog, as well as does the sustain, and him coming from the soul lane, you're normally, you know, at least a 1 to 2 levels ahead of the whatever opponent mid laner you're against. So as a result, you're going to be able to dive that mid laner so heavily.
Team Flex is eager currently because Guan, you can go anywhere. Erlang, Shen can go anywhere, but Kingdom Esports are going to pick up the Odin to go against that Guan Yu wherever he may be. And Vulcan, the last pick up for that mid lane.
I like that pickup for Vulcan because whenever you have an Odin, you need to synergize off of it. You have to have either Zeus or Vulcan, maybe even Hades with it, trying to get those large circles into that Odin cage just to make it very annoying for Eager, because right now it's 4 gods that really can't get out of it with the exception of Chronos Rewind.
I mean, and we've seen this combo before, and we've also seen the Vulcans not be able to actually line this up in the right manner to get that damage. Instead, it just whiffs on by, or it's only about half the circle. So that's going to come down to the synergy between those two players as well, and the communication. But last picked up for Eager is going to be the Awilix.
And right away, we were talking about the counter to Odin. There it is. Awilix easily able to stop the engage of the Odin. Wherever the jump is going to land, Awilix will be spotting that one out, looking for the pull to disrupt the engagement, and then try to burst him down as quickly as possible. Because if Odin jumps with the bird bomb and you pull him in, all that damage is gone.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't seem too worried about that at all. I was kind of nervous, kind of, you know, worrying about it, tugging at the collar, but nope, they're going to be just fine as long as Awilix can stick to that Odin, and that is going to be an Odin solo, and that's going to be a Guan Yu support.
And right off the bat, there is no rafts this time around. DaleyDale electing to go for the meditation, trying to keep up with the sustain coming out of Myflin on the Guan Yu. And I like the switch up. You don't want to try to go for an invade 2 games in a row. They're going to be prepared for it.
Yeah, I mean, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You don't want to fall to the same tricks again. And I mean,
Can't get fooled again.
Exactly.
You can't get fooled again.
I mean, one of these days, I'm going to get that right.
Impersonating your famous George Bush quote.
Oh, Lord. Please.
I think that's where it's from.
Is it?
I believe that's where it's from, yeah. You can't get fooled again.
That's okay. I'm gonna leave you to that. Giliara gonna make it to lane first. Gonna go ahead and set up his turret. Zeus gonna be a little bit behind when it comes to that, but as soon as he throws down that shield, it's gonna be absolutely no worries. You were mentioning earlier, isn't Vulcan really countered against that Zeus?
Yeah, with the turret being placed out, you're really worried about Zeus bounces, Naja bounces. So even though you synergize with the Odin, there's still some flexibility for Eager to really exploit this Vulcan.
And they're really putting the pressure when it comes to that Odin over by Kingdom in the solo, pushing him back, 3-man rotation. Want to take these fire imps, rotate back to these mid camps, and Erlang Shen gonna be just fine back here in the solo lane.
And that's why you really want to leave your jungler with your soul laner just to outpush Sealcar here to make the rotation for Fire Giant Elementals. They're worth 90 gold to the jungler, so you're going to be looking for that pressure. Now Myflin, though, a little low, doesn't have too much mana, but he still has his meditate for the sustain.
Yep, but he just used that dash, so he's going to have to rely on that meditate coming out. Is Dale looking quite low. Good whoop, 2-man whoop, going to keep a little bit of the pressure off, but here comes his CC and the Talon Soul. He's looking so low, and Cougar going to be able to find it. It's going to be first blood.
He was level 2 without his jump. He had the coerce, he had the hammer, but he didn't have his underhanded tactics, and that's going to be first blood already for Eager. And they could be able, knowing how the way they played the last game, you can definitely expect to see more aggression in the dual lane from Eager.
I mean, I was expecting when it came to the solo lane to really lock down this Odin, but they're really pulling the wool over Kingdom Esports' eyes, putting the pressure everywhere at this point. We've seen it in both lanes.
So DaleyDale, he switched to Shell. He picked up meditation, but then he sold it before he left the fountain for that Shell. And that would have been definitely easier time to survive with that sustain, trying to keep up with Myflin on the Guan Yu.
And he's gonna have a hard time keeping up now. Level 2. If you just keep starving him, keep picking him off, and keep picking on him in general, he's not gonna find this farm that he needs. And speaking of farming, Dwurst gonna get farmed by Sealcar, gonna put Kingdom Esports on the board.
Odin's strength lies at the level 4 play. Once you're about to hit level 5, you clear the wave instantly with your Bird Bomb combination and then able to trap down one member. Giliara going to try to avoid the knockup, but not successful. Going to get pulled in, but Zeus not in position to follow up.
but they did burn out the Sanctuary, so at least they have that little win coming out. But no, a little bit of a bad communication, I guess. Didn't have that follow-up coming out from the Zeus to try and get a little bit of extra damage and take him out.
Which is fine because the Zeus is clearing the wave while there's a zoning out, but DaleyDale still taking a lot of poke, and this is what Eager really wants to do. Every little bit of poke they do onto DaleyDale is setting themselves up in the future for this red buff invade.
I mean, red buff invade, and later on, if he's still trailing behind, he's not going to do as much damage. He's not going to be as big of a nuisance when it comes to the big dragon.
And in the solo lane, Sealcar just trying to poke out with Dwurst, landing that bird bomb, doing so much poke. The heal is going to come out from Dwurst in about 3 seconds immediately after, though. But in the sky, coming DaleyHomie.
DaleyHomie crashing down through the Cosmos, looking to try and get a pick, but Jellly's here as well. Gonna find the Feather Step. DaleyHomie looking very low. Vulcan ultimate coming in, taking quite a bit of damage on a Dwurst, but in retaliation, here comes Delta Marine dishing out the damage, and nobody's gonna find a kill.
Not at all. Delta Marine only able to find that 1 stack onto Sealcar. Had that have been 2, that probably would have been a kill. That would have been the blue buff invade, but regardless, all this poke, no Vulcan ultimate to worry about, no global presence from Homie. They're still gonna go for the speed buff, and at the same time, because of all the pressure they did onto DaleyDale, they're going for the red at the same time.
Yeah, they're going to find the red, they're going to find the speed over on the other side, they're going to find all of this, and Dale can't do a single thing. He finally hit level 5, not going to find anything at that point, and the meditation going to be able to give Cougs a little bit of extra mana just to help push out.
They can go in.
Yeah, forcing the jump. Myflin coming in with the cavalry charge, looking to find the stun, is going to be able to find it on the Hotbow, and here comes the dragon. Good whoop coming out. Myflin going to get taken out of the fight, and instead there's not going to be a fight.
They're just trying to poke out these 2 members in the dual lane and then continue the pressure. The boars are still available, and the left side mid Harpies, this chain lightning, you have to be careful with that turret being placed. And now in response, Jellly looking for somebody out of position.
Good backfire to get Vulcan out of the target, but now it's going to be Ratatoskr on the radar, but going to be just fine getting out. Jellly really just really good putting the pressure on exactly where he needs to be. He's not getting the kills, but he's sending them so far back into their backline.
So off of that already, we see Eager, they're just trying to put pressure onto the side lanes, right? Going for the left, going for the right, and it's going to be very important for Kingdom to really not allow AirCougar to get to the same form that he did last game with Assault, because he's already going for this Doom Orb, and once that gets stacked up, this Freya is going to have a difficult time.
Good slow coming on to Dwurst, but Sealcar waiting for that bird to pop. Instead, not going to be able to find the jump, using the jump to get away.
It's just going to be a little bit of patience from both of these junglers. The soul laners don't really want to fight at this point in time. Once Erlang Shen gets a few more levels, his poke, as long as he can catch the Odin before the bird bomb, he's going to shut down the engage completely.
I mean, DaleyHomie's in a better position to just pick himself up and go exactly whenever the solo's ready for the gank versus Awilix. Gonna have to have a lot more communication and have the positioning to really set that up.
But already Jellly, he doesn't care about soloing right now. He wants to try to look for this Vulcan, which is not a bad idea either. Whenever you have the Zeus trailing right behind you, he's gonna be looking for those chain lightnings off of the turret, off of the multi-man player positionings, and already they're looking for their own red buff after invading red earlier from Kingdom.
I mean, you don't want to give Kingdom Esports anything to get their lead back in, but shield coming down. Dale pushing forward just a little bit, gonna find the stun onto Myflin, but that's gonna get healed right up, and here comes the cavalry charge once again, going for Giliara. That's the big target here. The knockup, the pull from the ultimate, and then the feather step. Jellly is gonna be able to find it with the help of Delta Marine, but he is going to fall to DaleyHomie, and then here comes the Cosmos.
Great job from DaleyHomie, able to disengage from it though. Myflin, he's still gonna be able to heal up Jellly if there's a re-engage. A nice little ultimate from Hotbow, but AirCougar still having the rewind if he wants to try to get back into this engage.
Yeah, Valkyrie's discretion is a good tool to use as damage-wise to get away. And at that point, they were just trying to lock down, get a little bit of extra damage onto Hotbow, onto AirCougar from Hotbow, but keeping the distance.
Without that Freya ultimate, this is going to allow AirCougar to really go aggressive on the left-hand side. But in middle, though, DaleyDale might be out of position, going to get knocked up, and great feather step.
Might be out of position. He was definitely out, and Team Eager capitalized on that immediately. Even if he was a little bit safer in the tower, you're not going to find a Vulcan ultimate going to try and lock down the speed camp, but instead DaleyHomie's going to be able to take that from the attempt from Eager.
Nice job by Giliara finding the ultimate. Now Hotbow still getting pressure on the left-hand side. The great zone. This is what AirCougar is doing.
Ouch.
He doesn't want to really box. He just wants to zone away Hotbow. He wants to continue having this level lead over the Freya, not allowing her to get into that late game form. She doesn't even have Fatalis or choose the Magi complete.
Now, when you think about this ADC matchup, isn't it supposed to be the reverse? Isn't Freya supposed to be so much better? As we're seeing right now, Hotbow not having the best trade-off here. That pressure coming out from Cougar, like you mentioned, just doing wonders.
In the solo lane, though, caught into the cage. He's not going to be able to get any sustain off and didn't have his Mink or his Turtle to survive. Just great plays, solo plays from Sealcar. He was able to find the solo kill earlier on and now extending that. And now finally on the left-hand side, AirCougar getting a solo kill of his own.
You're talking about patience. AirCougar had patience. Sealcar had patience. They were waiting for these opportunities. Oh, but DaleyDale jumping in, forcing out the rewind. Dale almost had him locked down, but DaleyHomie's here, going to be able to take him out, punish him for taking out the Hotbow.
And that's what you really need to do, find the cleanup kills. There was no cleanup kill onto Sealcar, but there was one for AirCougar, so Kingdom responding immediately, allowing Hotbow to really get back into this laning phase. 2 levels behind, finally finishing the Fatalis. And like you were asking earlier on, Freya does win this matchup, but only once the Fatalis and Shoes of the Magi start really coming online. The fact that AirCougar, he had Doom Orb, about 30 stacks or so his abilities at this point just completely shred Hotbow.
I like the rotations coming out from Jellly as well. I mean, the kill almost onto Sealcar was because Awilix had rotated over, but instead, Sealcar going to get pushed back by Dwurst, who is back in lane now. A little bit salty from that loss, I'm sure. But here comes the ultimate, and here comes Ratatoskr jumping in. Here comes Vulcan, and TheYungHomie going to get credit for that kill.
This is what Kingdom really needs to do, just start grouping up and looking for anybody that they can catch, using the Odin to their advantage in this phase. Now, Hotbow going to force out the purification off of that stun. AirCougar doesn't have rewind here, but Delta Marine right around the corner.
Delta Marine and Jellly right around the corner. Going to be a good bit of poke coming out from AirCougar, forcing out the Valkyrie's discretion. Couple of hits, but for the most part, not really gonna. It's gonna know right where you're coming down. There goes the Zeus ultimate, and Delta Marine doesn't even have to get his hands dirty.
And Delta Marine is gonna find the kill as well. DaleyDale gonna be able to poke out AirCougar and finds the kill. It's good enough to secure it for. So yet again, trading one for one. DaleyDale.
It's gonna be a 1 for 2. Dale gonna get taken out by Jellly. A little bit of tower poke, but for the most part, it was totally worth.
I was about to say that 1 for 1 originally wasn't worth because AirCougar is ahead by 2 levels, but now finding the support is gonna allow Eager some more flexibility to really start looking for more of these left and right mid harpies.
And even though the kill count is even 10 minutes into the game, we're seeing quite a bit of a graph disparity for Team Eager, almost 4,000 experience and 2,000 gold in favor of Eager.
It's all about the dual lane. 1 level ahead is Myflin, 2 levels ahead is AirCougar, doing a great job already. And Delta Marine, look at this. We haven't really been talking about him too much, but he's 2 levels ahead of Vulcan.
Yeah, I mean, doing a great job. I mean, especially since you're on a god that has no escape. I would have wanted to see a lot more pressure being put onto the Zeus, but instead we're seeing it everywhere else, and Kingdom Esports aren't really able to keep up.
A little 3v3 skirmish, but here comes Sealcar on the right-hand side, jumping onto Myflin, finding him in the cage, and now TheYungHomie with Vulcan able to secure that kill.
Lots of damage, looking for the meatball, not going to be able to find the magma bomb, but Ratatoskr waiting to crash down is going to be able to find Delta Marine with the help of Sealcar, and now Jellly taking out TheYungHomie, but maybe taking out himself between 3 members of Kingdom Esports. There goes the Sanctuary, there goes the jump, and there goes Jellly.
But finally making the rotation is Dwurst. He finds one. The shield's going to keep Sealcar alive for a little bit longer, but here comes Hotbow. He's going to try to clean up Dwurst. AirCougar was cleaning out the left-hand side in return. Dwurst, he doesn't have his turtle.
He doesn't have his turtle or anything, forcing out the ultimate, and Hotbow going to secure that kill. Giliara going to be just fine walking and rotating as well.
So that was a 4 for 2 in Kingdom's favor, but AirCougar, he was able to get so much farm, and he's able to confirm this tier 1 tower on the left-hand side, just extending the goal lead to Eager by 500.
So who won that then? I mean, with those 4 kills, 2 in a tower?
I would say definitely Eager because they got an objective off of it. AirCougar still extending his lead from Hotbow. He's able to get the experience that he needs to. A lot of ultimates were exchanged, and overall, it was a great rotation from Sealcar that really allowed this Kingdom to get that lead.
Good call coming out from Eager. Gonna go ahead and start aggressing on this Gold Fury. Hotbow is here though, gonna get a nice whoop. Waiting for the rotation to come in, sending so much damage in there, but trying to confirm it with the Zeus kill, or with the Zeus ultimate. Hotbow still on the back line trying to poke out, but instead that Gold Fury is still going to go to Team Eager.
They find the Gold Fury and they're looking for a little bit more. AirCougar feeling very confident to continue the pressure. Now Jellly looking for a potential pick onto Sealcar. He cannot jump away because he will get pulled back in.
Yeah, but there goes the ultimate as a zoning tool at that point. He's not trying to kill anybody. He's just trying to keep himself alive.
Great play, but now without the Odin Vulcan combination of ultimates, it's going to allow Eager to continue the pressure mid. They have the sustain from Guan Yu, and here comes the Vulcan ultimate. Sealcar finding the nice blink detonate in the back.
Blink detonate in the back, but then here comes Dwurst taking out Sealcar. They didn't even need that ultimate in the end, but TheYungHomie gonna get pinched. There goes the Sanctuary. Now the detonate was used, so they may not be able to get this from a long range, and TheYungHomie is gonna be able to get away.
Eager credited with the tier 1 mid tower. It's a great job from Myflin, just keeping everybody topped off with that meditation, with the conviction, and overall the presence of mind for Eager to just keep on the pressure with their level lead from AirCougar, from Delta Marine. These magical mages are doing so much work. AirCougar though, he might be in trouble.
Yeah, he might be in trouble indeed. Hotbow sticking to him. TheYungHomie here as well. He's gonna get pinched between 3 members, and that's gonna be the death for the Chronos.
He had no ultimate, no purification, just overextended so slightly, and now Kingdom with this minion wave, they could put pressure on this tier 1 mid tower. They don't have that much damage though.
The only one that's here right now is Zeus, and he's pretty low. Delta Marine only gonna get a little bit of a heal when it comes to Myflin coming back. They're not gonna be able to take out the tier 1 tower. It's gonna be a successful push out. But I mean, Eager and Kingdom Esports didn't lose anybody for that, but they might now as Dale forcing out the Fafnir Dragon, taking a lot of damage from Zeus ultimate as well, but it's not gonna be enough. Jellly jumping over, may be able to find it, but the Magma Bomb gonna be able to increase the distance.
Great job from Giliara being able to zone away Jellly with that meatball, but he's gonna get dove under the tier 1 mid tower. Nice little cavalry charge keeping him in place.
I mean, you stopped me from getting my kill, so we're gonna kill you instead. Turning around onto Giliara. He has no escape. Gonna be able to find the Odin here, chunking lots of damage, stuck completely in this role for right now. And I mean, Featherstep gonna do a bit of damage. Here comes the Sanctuary, but now there's just too much. He can't deal with it. Sealcar gonna get credit for the kill, but just in case, Ratatoskr who was there.
And this is the one issue that Awilix has. Without the ultimate, you can't stop that bird bomb damage from Sealcar, and this is what's allowing him to really make a presence in team fights. We saw his rotation in mid lane. We saw him being able to clean up that kill there. And look at this Dwurst. He's feeling really confident, being able to try to trade some tower poke just to stop Sealcar from backing.
I mean, Sealcar's doing a great job, 5-1 and 3, so every little bit counts when you're trying to lessen that lead and lessen the pressure that Odin's really able to bring to the table. If Dwurst can push him out, I mean, if anything, that could be a mental thing. When you're in this solo matchup, if you get pushed out, are you a little bit more hesitant to jump back in?
Yeah, absolutely, and this allows Dwurst to invade those back right Harpies while the rest of his team is grouped up in the mid lane, and this is just a bit of pressure to allow Dwurst to continue farming on the right. You're forcing Kingdom to respond with your mid-tier 2 tower push.
Eager rotating back towards this right side. Myflin is going to be able to meet up with Homie, but Homie going to jump right into the tower. Does not want to deal with any of that right now. But for right now, Eager kind of seem a little scattered. They're only just now grouping up in the mid.
They have about a 4,500 goal lead. Nice little purification being used, and even forcing the Vulcan ultimate just because AirCougar found the time stop. A little bit of, I would say, a forced reaction by Giliara.
I mean, that's like accidentally pressing your beads when you know you're not going to get pulled by something, but that's a lot more important than beads. That's an ultimate. That's an objective taker.
And that's going to allow Eager to keep on the aggression because now they don't have to worry about this Odin-Vulcan combination, right? They have the Blink Odin cage, but if there's no Vulcan ultimate to follow up, you're not really too worried about that play.
Eager feeling pretty comfortable, waiting for these right Harpies to come up, are going to be able to take them very quickly, and now start their rotations back, taking every little bit of experience and gold off of the board. And right now, looking like Dwurst, feeling really confident again with Sealcar, being able to walk out of this, but looking for the Moonlight charge, looking for the damage. You're not going to be able to, not until this is done. Here comes the cage, here comes the Mink, but also here comes Myflin, able to slow him down. The jump going to be good, but the pull back, Jellly going to be able to finally take him out.
And they're going to apply pressure on the tier 2 on the right-hand side. Cougar making the rotation mid, just zoning away Hotbow a little bit. He still has a level lead with Telekine's going to be looking for the play potentially. TheYungHomie Homie, he has to be looking for a really hot ultimate here.
He's waiting for it, but he's getting a little bit of distance because they're going to be able to hear it. Dale jumping in with the dragon, but now they've already turned on Giliara. Nobody cares about Dale at this point. Gilly can't get away, and Jellly going to take him, but Dale going to take out Dwurst while they were too busy.
Unfortunately, while you're in the cavalry charge, you can't find the heals, but now Myflin trying to keep Delta Marine alive with the meditation, but not overextending to the point of giving him the conviction that he ever so desperately needed.
Good sanctuary coming out from Homie, able to save himself and then take somebody out, but he's not going to be able to save himself now as he gets pinched between three. Eager going to claim the life of the rat.
So Eager's strategy there was to give up those two members, allow AirCougar to get the tier 2 tower in middle, which was taken off screen, and then once he did make the rotation, he was able to find the cleanup. So Eager, 2 for 2 and the tier 2 mid.
And they're still looking pretty nice and happy when it comes to these grabs. Hotbow taking a lot of damage, but a good whoop gonna increase the distance, but now Myflin charging forward, forcing out the sanctuary, but the CC not going to connect, not going to be able to find that stun.
And now Sealcar on the backhand side with DaleyDale able to force out the purification from Jellly, but it's AirCougar that's in trouble in the cage.
In the cage, there's the Vulcan. Oh, the blink through that camp to be able to lock them in the cage in the first place was beautiful, but they didn't really have any follow-up. The team was a little bit too scattered, and now Dale trying to find Jellly at this point, but I mean, Freya chasing as well, waiting for the jump, waiting for Suku, not going to find the hammer. Beautiful.
The patience now, and now Sealcar jumping in, forcing the sanctuary out of AirCougar. There is no Odin cage to follow up Dwurst, making the rotation, not connecting on that root cripple.
Not connecting, and now Kingdom Esports, they look like they want to fight, but they have nowhere to run to. They don't have the tier 2 tower is the only real defensive point they're going to be able to sit at, so they have to pick these fights really carefully.
Especially with Myflin having the sustain that he has, the longer these team fights go on, the worse it becomes for Kingdom. So Eager, they're looking for the long fights. Kingdom, they're looking for the burst with this Odin Vulcan combination, as well as TheYungHomie on the Ratatoskr. He's really out there trying to look for the plays.
I mean, Eager's always been about the objective control. Both big objectives are up. The Gold Fury, the Fire Giant. Which do you think they're really going to start sniffing at first? They're all grouped up on the right side, but I mean, Gold Fury is a little bit easier to take.
They have the Sentry Ward at Gold Fury just to make sure it's not Kingdom that's going to force the issue. They don't have to force either objective at this point. They're going to be looking for the picks, to forcing out these important cooldowns, whether it's a Relic or an ultimate.
Or Ratatoskr's ultimate, as you were just sitting there talking about it. Rotation back to take these mid-harpies. Once again, just gleaning every bit of experience and gold off the map, so Kingdom Esports can't do anything about it. Forcing out the Odin ring. Here comes the Vulcan ult, not necessarily in the whole bit of the cage. You're going to be able to find that one little sliver to save themselves.
Just because the Odin ultimate was used doesn't mean you always have to follow up with the Vulcan ultimate. That Odin ult was used defensively. There was no possible team fight there. We saw TheYungHomie having to use his ultimate defensively earlier on, which is giving Eager all this map control to transition into this Gold Fury.
A little bit of rough communication coming out from Kingdom Esports, but Eager are all on the same page here. They're zoning and taking out this Gold Fury, so it's going to be immediately gone, and that's going to be quite a boon in the coffers for Team Eager. Yep, 8,000 gold difference, 8,000, almost 9,000 experience.
And this is because AirCougar is now finally rotating to these team fights to be able to force the issue. DaleyDale, he cannot jump away from Jellly until the stun happens to prevent the pull back in.
I mean, you don't want to get pulled back in because he's alone right here. He's split off from the rest of his team. Freya and Vulcan are in the mid, and Dwurst, he's got to worry about him right now. The only defense, once again, on this side as well, is the tier 2 tower. He's going to continue to get pushed back.
It's all about Eager grouping up. They find the pull onto Giliara. Nice feather step, forcing out the Sanctuary. Now the Zeus ultimate on top of the Odin cage, trying to save out Jellly.
Jellly is going to be just fine, forcing out the ultimate from Dale, but he's in a very bad position, not going to be able to get anything done, and Delta Marine going to be able to take him out, and now Hotbow going to be on the receiving end of a lot of pain before he can even get into the Valkyrie's discretion. Delta Marine takes him out.
And now AirCougar securing the tier 2 tower on the right. The rest of his team is grouped up in the mid, trying to go for this Phoenix. It's going to be a 5-on-3 shellless pop. Myflin has to sustain Sealcar, though. He's trying to set up the Vulcan.
Vulcan ult coming in, not going to hit a single person. Nobody was there, and now TheYungHomie's going to pay for it because AirCougar's taking him out. And now the Odin so low, not going to find the pin from Erlang Shen. Odin going to be able to go back and heal, but that's going to cost them a Phoenix.
And this is the late game damage coming out of Chronos to get this middle Phoenix right now. It's about to fall. They don't have any minutes, which makes it a little bit more difficult, but with the sustain from Myflin, they're going to be able to continue the pressure.
Nice 3-man slow, but it's not going to be enough to deter everybody, especially Delta Marine. Marine from pumping out the damage, finding these charges, finding the detonates, and just every little bit counts, forcing out the rewind as well for Jellly, but Hotbow going to be able to take him out. AirCougar taking out Daley, but now, once again, the Phoenix is gone, and Sealcar is all by himself.
Hotbow is all by himself now after Sealcar dies, so it's going to be another 3-for-1 exchange with the middle Phoenix, and now Eager, they're grouping up towards the right-hand side. They have so much time to play with their numbers advantage. Whether they want to go for right side Phoenix or Fire Giant, that's the question.
There's only 2 people left for Kingdom Esports, and they're forced. Their hands are tied. They're messing around with fire minions again. The next person is going to be coming up, Dale, for another 5 seconds. So Team Eager have had full run of this jungle. They have full run of everything. More than likely, we're going to see a Fire Giant coming out next.
More than likely. There's a lot of gold on the side of AirCougar, over 2,600 right now. He needs to finish off that Obsidian Shard just for the penetration. That's going to really allow him to start shredding the Fire Giant and these Phoenixes just to secure the game for Eager.
I'm thinking about it because Detonate, that's a little bit of a ranged damage. Yeah, Zeus is topping those charts, but look at Awilix. She's barely under him. Awilix is everywhere, being an absolute straight up nuisance.
Jellly has been doing a good job positioning himself, shutting down Giliara, I would say, for the most part. He was always there trying to find it. Even in the beginning of the game, I think it was him that suffered with him being out of position ever so slightly. Just no hesitation, just to even dive that tier 1 tower whenever you have the Zeus behind you.
And they definitely shut Giliara down, 0, 4, and 9. The assists are nice, but he's level 16 compared to level 20. Team Eager have level 20s. That's definitely going to come in handy as they're taking down this Fire Giant.
It doesn't seem that no response from Kingdom, though. They do have Sealcar right around the corner. DaleyDale on the left side of those mid-harpies. He's going to have to jump in soon.
Yeah, but that's going to be a complete and total leash. Is it going to turn around onto Dale? Vulcan ultimate coming in, but it's not going to be enough, and Delta Marine is going to be able to take out the Fafnir. Sealcar finds himself between Delta Marine and a hard place, and that's going to be another kill for the Zeus. AirCougar taking out DaleyDale, and this is the last line of defense for Kingdom Esports, and they weren't really able to do anything about it.
DaleyDale jumps in a little too late and falls his way back into the ground, and that's going to be Eager ignoring the Fire Giant. The respawns are too late for Kingdom to really respond. They have enough damage to really secure this one. It's going to be a 5-on-2.
It's Giliara and Hotbow against all of Team Eager. All right, and they're just jumping forward. They're not even caring about Hotbow. Hotbow trying to throw the damage. The ultimates are coming out. The Titan is falling, and the Titan's HP is so low. They're continuing to look for it. Delta Marine taking a lot of the aggro, but it's not going to be enough. The combined efforts of Team Eager are going to be able to take down the Titan and take that set 2-0.
Giving themselves 3 points now for the first time in this split so far, going into week number 2. Going to be tied now with Most Wanted and Elevate, so looking forward into the future. Feeling very confident after this win is Eager.
Doing pretty good, if I should say so myself. I mean, there goes the roster there. I was worried about Eager not really being able to show up like last week. Jellly and Myflin really had some rough spots when it came to their swap. But you didn't see it today.
Not at all. Definitely a confidence booster going against Kingdom that's still struggling in terms of finding their own identity with the roster and the role swaps. It's just not really allowing Kingdom to find their own footing, especially going against such an experienced team of Eager.
And I feel like both games were really set the pace was AirCougar. AirCougar really jumping into these fights, jumping into these objectives, jumping into everything. The solo kill coming out from AirCougs, just waiting for the right opportunity to take out Hotbow.
We know AirCougar, how aggressive he is. If he has an advantage, he even predicts the whoop that's coming out from Hotbow, able to force him out under the tower, which is denying so much experience to him. And this is where all the cooldowns were used. Hotbow, not having any mana for his Valkyrie's discretion, just gets completely dove under that tower.
The word you had used was patience. AirCougar was waiting patiently for that right moment. It wasn't even jumping in, getting a little bit of tower damage. No, he was patiently biding his time and just every little bit of damage.
That's all you really need to do in the 1v1 advantage whenever you're a magical hunter against the other. Chronos wins before the Fatalis on the Freya.
Well, any final thoughts about that matchup?
The matchup specifically, I would say Eager, they found their identity, I would say, this time around. They were able to hold the early pressure from Kingdom with that red buff invade. They weren't worried. They found their own red buff invade, and then they started grouping up and winning these team fights.
Well, you heard it there first. Since the game's over, you know exactly what time it is. Time for the plug. hi-rezexpo.com will give you tickets to the hi-rez expo, where you can see the casters cast, the pros play on the big stage, and Peckies do Pecky's things. We're going to bring you round or set 2 here in just a second. It's going to be Kingdom versus Soar. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back in a second.